what came to me this morning, last night was very cold. I live in the Northeast, and, you know, the full moon is often the coldest time. I don't know why, but we're approaching a full moon, and it's just, you know, we're in a polar vortex with really strong winds, and so the actual temperature isn't that cold, but you get the wind chill, and it feels like, you know, the temperature might be 24. With wind chill, it feels like 12, which has some kind of metaphorical meaning I can't really get my hands on. But what I noticed this morning was, in response to the cold, first off, it triggers in me all kinds of, it almost feels like past life. I once was left behind and froze, or, you know, I mean, I've had this, you know, maybe in the last 30 years, anyway, so I kind of crank the heat and hide under the covers and put on layer after layer, and so I'm actually pretty hot right now. And I think it has something to do with overcorrecting, you know, overreacting. I'm too cold, so I'll like pile on every article of clothes. I'm feeling vulnerable, so I'll put up every defense. It's just like an overreaction. And then we have to recalibrate it back down. Down goes the heat, off go the clothes. I may have to lose the sweater. I wear these all winter because, wow. So, overreacting, maybe? Yeah. 9 of Pentacles. There's a sense here, I think, of just sit with it. You know, take a moment to assess your environment, Pentacles energy, and realize you're safe. 9 of Pentacles, like, I'm unshaken, I'm a fully integrated person, I'm not afraid to grow, I'm not afraid of my environment, I'm supple somehow. Wow. 10 of Swords. We had this combination yesterday, I think. Not right next to each other, but there was this strong sense of security in my 3D life, in our three, you know, could be you, could be the other guy. But it seems like that security was a result of just like unplugging from this. Like, I see this almost like a power grid, an overloaded circuit or something. So many messages, so much kind of crazy information that it had somebody like flatlined. And now overloaded circuits, almost like in shock. And there's something else about the conversation being an attempt to shut somebody up, because one of the swords is like hitting this bird right in the beak. Like, swallow the truth. But the good news about 10 of Swords is it's the 10 card, it's over. 9 speak to the personal. 10 speak to the cycle. Somebody's recovered from a overloaded circuit. Maybe, you know, like their brain is just can't absorb one more uncertainty or one more doubt or one more need to find an answer outside oneself. And there's something about, and I don't know enough about electricity, but, you know, if there's too much resistance, if somehow the circuit isn't grounded, it can really zap you. But this is Nine of Pentacles, earth energy, stable, grounded individual who survived perhaps some kind of brutal ending that was just, there was no closure. They got their own closure, Nine of Pentacles. You know, I'm still alive. May have been flatlined. Somebody may have tried to shut me up or stopped communicating with me so that I had no choice but to give. Not in the sense of give and not in the sense of just totally surrender and give up. But it's like hanging up the phone or unplugging the circuit. Two of Swords. Somebody was indecisive, I think. You know, couldn't make up their mind. They were of two minds. Sword energy is about mental, for good or ill, communication, mental states, clarity or lack thereof. Somebody may have made a decision, perhaps an air sign, to unplug. Like for some reason this overloaded their circuits. I think that they saw this earth energy person as, boy, have we gotten the swords and the pentacles a lot lately. Somebody was grounded, perhaps an earth sign, and somebody wasn't, perhaps a sword energy person. And it doesn't need to be the sign. It's sort of like what the sign embodies. Just like being of two minds or a split decision or something like that. So there's a lot of overthinking. On Nine of Pentacles, Six of Wands. Can be a card of success. Successful forward movement. Wands energy speak to movement. They're directional, you know. Establishing some kind of framework. See how these form a kind of grid? It reminds me of, you know, how you build a strong structure. Not like this. These are the two crossed. These are crossed too, but they form a kind of network. This is a block. This is a build it together energy, like a weave. And it may, because wands speak to a life force energy, it may be somebody's found a way, wands energy, to do it better this time. Acknowledging, interweaving. You know, I think that this person really thought they could isolate and forever not decide, forever kick the can down the road, forever, I won't think about it, you know, I'll just unplug. If Ten of Swords is unplugging, this is plugging back in. And it does the trick, wands energy, it does it. Under Ten of Swords. Four of Swords. Boy, a lot of air energy here. It's a card of healing. But it's also like, if you reached a crossroads where something ended because perhaps somebody was indecisive, of two minds, sword energy. This is like stopping to recover, to rest, to turn off the overthinking mind, to heal from this painful ending, to heal from indecision. It's sort of like here, it's a little bit like this, right? All the swords meeting. I went to a school where they did a lot of sort of pagan ritual stuff. And there was the Morris dancing, which only the boys could do. I never understood why, but they had jingle bells on their ankles, and they did a thing called the sword dance. When it was an all-girls school, the girls got to do it. When the boys were let into the school, suddenly the girl, I don't know what that's about, but you could weave in this elaborate dance, everybody with their sword, you know, spinning and turning and dancing and bells jingling. And eventually it made a shape like this. You know, it was the ta-da, you could hold it up, and all the swords were interlaced. Somehow communication is getting healed. It involves some kind of cooperative, lively energy, not this dead, overblown circuit. It becomes lively again. It becomes a kind of dance where things are in accord, not opposition. And somehow matching, sword for sword. It's like it could be a conversation that maybe addresses what went off the rails. The Hermit. Another 9 card. Card of the individual. In Earth energy, Pentacles energy, Earth energy, Virgo. Here comes Ro like a freight train. You know, if somebody came in like a freight train, Hermit would be not run away, but just fall back on themselves, because Hermit is on a spiritual quest, and it's about maintaining personal integrity. Not in the sense of like, I've got a moral code, I have to, but in the idea that the pieces fit. Like I've gotten away from external forces long enough, you know, to go into this healing place where I'm not, it's like an active passive state where the brain is healing itself, where communication is healing, apparently where connection is healing. But it involves getting away from the fray. Somebody may have had an overloaded circuit because everybody was, you know, stating their opinion or telling them something different, or, you know, asking them so many questions. What's your choice? What are you going to do? Have you made the decision yet? Are you still at the crossroads? That they like blew a circuit. They had to go into a kind of retreat to heal it. And then there's this Virgo energy of the spiritual retreat, the spiritual path, the know yourself. I'm hearing like first know yourself, and also first do no harm. Doctors Without Borders. It's a great charity, and for some reason I'm hearing that. Doctors Without Borders. Like, because the Hermit is a healer. But it isn't without borders, because this one is self-sufficient, self-sustaining, an integrated person. Maybe the border that needs to dissolve is between the individual and the higher power. You know, I've found sometimes the messages from higher power I can have great resistance to. You know, I don't want to hear it. That blows my mind. My circuits are overloaded. Don't make me choose. Don't say that again. I'll put up a block. Okay, overheating. Apologies. Wands are fire energy, so there may be something in that. The circuits were too overloaded, too hot, and so there was this need to unplug. I need to be on my own. Not I need to, but I'm good on my own. You know, I'm stable. I have a stable foundation. And it's based on a deep dive I've done to understand myself. It's like to work on yourself. Don't try to fix the other person. Don't, mess in their business. What you can work on is your own self. That's it. Pentacles energy. Do the work. Invest in time and energy in yourself. Make sure you're shored up and safe. And this is somehow like getting warm enough. It's almost like when you build a fire, you have to build it with, if these are the logs or the kindling, you have to build it so there's space for the fire. You can't smother the flame. You have to allow oxygen in. So it has to be a kind of loose structure, strong enough to hold, but not so strong that it puts out life force, fire energy, the will to do something successfully. And I think I've showed you this already, so yeah. Okay, on Six of Wands, Temperance in fire energy, card of Sagittarius. You know, it's the blend of the two, the synthesis, the alchemy. Two things blending, becoming more than either one of them, but the sum is greater than the parts. These are two things that, it's a dynamic, it's not fixed, it's something that can respond. Didn't I say something about supple? It's almost like the weave is close enough to hold the whatever is the source of the alchemy, but it doesn't put out the fire. And I have no idea why the angel here, the Temperance angel, I believe is Archmike. I'm not great on my angel names. But it's headless. And I know this one is facing away, the Hermit, and hooded. You don't see the head. You don't see the head here either. It's somehow personal, the 9 card, but each individual has to channel this higher power for themselves, channel it, create their own alchemy. Participate in this weave, but not where no energy is smothered. Because this was like smothered, overloaded, flatlined. That's healing, and it's healing because somebody is going inside to get inner wisdom. That's like the essential ingredient of the alchemical mix. And for some reason, the missing head strikes me as like, don't overthink. Up in the head, flatlined, circuit overload. And this is tapping into the collective unconscious, really, to be replenished. Temperance. So there's a need to sort of forego this, the worry, the overthinking, the planning ahead, the trying to think of things to say, to, or block somebody else from speaking their piece, something like that. It's not an ego death, but it's kind of shoring up the self without shoring up the ego. You know, I want it to go this way. Nine of Pentacles, I want it to go this way. That's not this energy. It's sort of like, I've got my life, you've got your life. You know, I don't want to intrude on you or overload your circuits. I'd like to do this, where there's enough space between us. It's a loose weave. You know, the flames can still grow. That temperance energy of alchemy, it's like it has to be at the, you know, alchemy involved base metals turning into gold, and it had to do with temperature and the cauldron, etc. See, I mean, that alchemical thing is really loud here. It requires space. So somebody's gone into a kind of mental retreat to find peace of mind, basically. Four of Swords. I think that's the sword energy person, because I think there are two people here. Somebody was indecisive because they were on overload, so they withdrew. You know, they went in there, I don't like this expression, but this sort of man cave. And I'm hearing, I don't know where I think it may be Elephant Man. Don't look at me, I'm hideous. You know, Elephant Man had a deformity and was taunted by people, and so they hid. Somebody may have felt so mentally imbalanced, so screwed up. They may have even felt like, I can't go on. That they hid away. Oh, that's a great. When my daughter was little, I had a limited repertoire of songs on the guitar. So one of them that I played rather a lot for her, because I think it's a great song. It's the Beatles. Hide Your Love Away, I believe is the title. Here I stand, head in hand. Turn my face to the wall. It's the guy turned backwards. Here we go. If she's gone, I can't go on, feeling 2 foot small. Everywhere people stare each and every day, I can see them laugh at me and I hear them say, hey, you've got to hide your love away. And my daughter, about the second chorus of this, who was like 4 years old, maybe less, said, no, you don't. She was quite fierce in her, you don't have to hide your love away. Don't hide your love away. Don't hide your love away. Oh boy, Devil on Hermit. Both earth energies. And in some ways, you'd say very opposite. You know, the energy of the sage, the energy of the toxic block. But Capricorn to me is a much more complicated, and people just sort of write it off as that's toxic. I see it also as the energy of somebody who's willing to dig in, Capricorn. Dig in, work hard on what holds them back. You know, and part of that is looking at themselves, not like blaming somebody else. You know, the evil is on the outside. It's looking at your own shadow energy, what you've suppressed, what you've disowned about yourself. I think that this process is about knowing yourself, being brave enough and grounded enough to know thyself. the devil is earth energy. It's pagan energy. It's in some senses pagan is about nature worship. And this is somebody who's grounded in the natural world, and I think somehow has accepted themselves, shadow and all. What's self-acceptance if you say, I accept this part, I'll cherry pick it, I'm this, I'm spiritual, but, don't look at the other stuff. I'm not going to. I'll hide my love away. This is all about self-acceptance, it seems to me. And maybe that's what, because you don't get to Nine of Pentacles, this stable self, good on their own, good in their environment, and so forth, by not accepting parts of yourself. Remember I said this one's integrated? All the pieces are somehow in one skin. There's an acceptance, that's who I am. And it's not static, it's always in flow, it's always transformative. This alchemy, where when you accept shadow, look at what you haven't been willing to look at, you get that inner peace, inner wisdom. And here, I noticed there was that bird on its back, shocked into a flat line, and then into retreat, and there are two birds. It's almost like somebody goes inside themselves, gets grounded, walks a spiritual path that in some ways is fundamentally like we each one of us has to walk the path. You can't piggyback on somebody else's life. You've got to live your own life. The Nine, the personal, shadow and all. That's part of the alchemical mix. It's an open weave. Leave room. On Nine of Pentacles, we have King of Cups. The dove and the swans. I think there's a sort of Three of Cups implication here. Somebody's open-hearted and perhaps ready for some kind of reunion. It's the first water energy on the board. So love is on the scene now. It's like enter stage right, King of Cups. There's been some kind of softening. And I was watching Rue, and she was like staring at me. I don't know, maybe she wanted me to feed her or something. And then she did the squinchy eyes, and I did it back. If you have a cat and they do that eye softening thing, and you can do this sort of blinky language, and it means like, I'm not ready to hunt you the way I would a bird or something, the way I would a bird. Hunt you down. There's something softened here. I think somebody really loves this single person. And it doesn't necessarily mean outside a relationship. But whatever this Nine of Pentacles hermit person has been doing is work on themselves. They didn't go try to resuscitate this air energy person. They didn't say, I'll heal you. Just come out of your retreat and I'll heal you. I'll say the right words. I'll make you feel whole. They gave this person space. And it doesn't have to be a love partner. It can be, with any relationship we really care about, there has to be a certain degree of space. You can't just glom onto each other like you're one, it's not a three-legged race. Both parties have to have somehow freedom of movement. On Two of Swords, Ten of Cups. Wow. Remember I said we don't have any water energy yet, about feelings and connection. Well, now we have King of Cups, Ten of Cups, and the birds again. I'm hearing it's a peaceful, easy feeling. I know you won't let me down because I already am standing on the ground. I think that's the eagles. Nine of Pentacles is a very peaceful feeling, and there are all these images of the Holy Spirit, of the doves, of some sort of love that's sanctified. Not because it's not because it excludes the hard. It's not an idea that it all has to be easy. It's hard work to free yourself. It's hard work to be real, Earth energy, Capricorn energy, to accept shadow and allow it to change you. That's the blend. To continually bring in those unacknowledged parts of oneself. On there's that Three of Cups. Four of Swords, Three of Cups. Healing the ability to connect. There's a card of friendship, reunion, an expansive love. It's not binary. It's not, I'm of two minds. I have two choices. I am at a crossroads. I'm in a grid. I'm living in a grid. Something very linear, and like logic can't really get you there, but the open heart, King of Cups, I think that this person who may have been up in their heads and had thought so much about some decision that it just overloaded their circuits. At some point they gave up they surrendered kind of to the psychic, the big energies of the psyche, and then channeled those into their life. Hermit, Devil, Temperance, these big energies into their life. Nine of Pentacles, Hermit. They integrated those things in. So tell me about this appearance of the Nine of Cups. It could be somebody who's willing to work hard to undergo this, on the level of their psyche, an alchemical transformation. And it is accomplished by, these cups here, the blend of the cups. A lot of cups. We've got a lot of cups going on. It's not about isolation. It's about the blend of, it's, fellow feelings and namaste and hail, bro, sis. Ten of Swords, oh man. Three of Swords. Well, good. Because that's hurt. That's separation. That's pain. That's particularly, I think, the memory of pain. Because it's sword energy. It's not something immediate. It's like reverberating in the memory. Memory of separation, memory of heartbreak. And thinking about it till you overload circuits and go splat. Somebody did that. But it's a memory. It's in the past. And Three of Cups sometimes speaks to the next holiday. To looking forward to a reunion, a coming back together in the future. to celebrate something. It's very open-hearted energy here because they needed space. I don't know if I said this before, but it seems so obvious to me now. The person goes into retreat. The sword energy person. I mean, it could be an air sign, not necessarily. We've got everything here. But they go into retreat. The other person is in their operating from their inner wisdom. They're not trying to pin this person down or make them talk or shut. You know, it's almost like I'm getting the image of, you know, if somebody's being tortured to talk. You know, you tell me, or I'll waterboard you, or I'll tie you to a chair and, you know, shock you till you talk. There might have been something almost that insistent. Or this person just was, to talk was painful. It really, I don't know why, but this person had, you know, they had something they were trying to hide from themselves. And if they got into close contact with somebody else, you know, that blend temperance, if they opened their heart, they were afraid somebody would see their darkness. So they had healing work to do. They'd been hurt in the past. It had shut them down. They took this respite. I mean, it's pretty. So 3 of Swords, 3 of Cups. 3 and 3 is 6. 6 in Major Arcana is Lovers. You know, that relationship, that sword energy blend. What was the shadow energy? What was somebody in denial about? I'm not going to look at it. I'll block it. I'm not going to think about it. And it ends up being all that this person thinks about. Queen of Swords. That's somebody who speaks the truth and expects the truth and can identify, you know, what's not true and set a boundary. I think that this air energy person was done with cycles. 10 of Swords speaks to the cycle of overthinking or heartbreak or pain or whatever. I think they have a boundary up against that kind of maybe negative self-talk or the business of returning to it's like picking a scab. You know, you don't want to go back and think about it and think about it and think about how you were hurt, or, you know, because that's more overthinking. You know, it's trying to use a thorn to remove a thorn. So Queen of Swords has mental clarity now and a good filter. So if this person is coming toward them, he, she, they, with love in their heart, with openness, with an offer of love that starts maybe with friendship, but it's joyful, it's celebratory, it's about growth, you know, expansion of love, not this, you know, let's carve it into pieces. It's regenerating the heart. 3 of Swords, 4 of Swords. Healing the wound. Healing the wound. Queen of Swords knows how to do that. So what's she going to do? Ooh, 4 of Pentacles. That can be a block. That can be like, I have boundaries, you know. my life is good, and maybe I've rebuilt it after being involved in some kind of third-party bullshit that like practically flatlined me. So I just put up a block. I put up a boundary. I put up a boundary. Like I'll hang on to what I know, to what I have. I'm not undergoing, it's almost like in that circuitry thing, like I'm not going to undergo somebody who saps my energy. You know, there's a degree of self-protection here, of the boundary. Like you don't enter my mind. Why is she closed off? He, she, they. 7 of Wands. Well, it's a protective energy. It's like I'm trying to grow something here. It's like often 7 of Wands is just a block, but this is protection. That I can't remember the name of that image, but it's, you know, it's like the hand of the divine that protects you. Somebody's trying to grow something here. Queen of Swords, we'll know if it's necessary to set a boundary, because their intention is to grow. Tell me a little more, and I feel like we're going off the rails here. Why the need to block? I mean, obviously there's been hurt, the memory of hurt, the expectation that there's more of that to come. So I'm going to block. I'm going to block. 4 of Pentacles is a healthier block than 2 of Swords in this reading, because it's protecting like the delicate flower, the delicate growth. I don't know. Can you tell us more? Yes. Death card, card of change. And again, I see it with this hourglass, you know, it's somebody may be running out the clock, but I also see it as 2 images of the cups. And there's the flower again. Growth and change. Queen of Swords may have intended to guard against anything that would threaten their stability. 4 of Pentacles is very stable. It's like buttoned down. But emotional change is on the way. And in the bottom half, we have all the skulls. And in the top, the flower, the lily. Well, it's out of death, life. Out of death, 10 of Swords, life, 10 of Cups. It's almost like if we can process our pain, not by overthinking it, by healing it, by going into the quiet place to get peace of mind, then our pain becomes the kind of fertilizer, you know, when things die, they go back into the soil, they go back in, they become compost, they become the very material you can grow in and from. I want to know more about this King of Cups. I think that the King of Cups is the air sign person. I mean, is somebody who was up in their head is now heart-centered and ready to give love. They've undergone some kind of alchemical change. And they're ready now to approach the blend, temperance, the 2 cups blending, but leaving room for the fire. You know, leaving enough space between them for the fire. It's like it's love and it's connection, but it's not. It's a kind of love that doesn't smother. Chariot, love it. More water energy. We had Scorpio in the death card, now we have Cancer in the Chariot. It's moving forward on the basis of this emotional change, like a sea change. Something's regrowing out of the wreckage of what came before. You know, the wreckage of what came before. And there may have been a time of like revisiting that pain, revisiting it, and finally like, hands off, I'm just going to go quiet. Not like replay the story of the bad things that, all the bad memories, the bad things that happened to me, the painful endings and so forth. Not going to replay that. I'm looking forward to connection. Once I've healed this past injury, maybe no need to protect myself anymore going forward, because this is a major arcana card of forward movement. You don't have to hide your love away. You know, you're somehow blending. There's an internal blend, and it allows for the blend with somebody else. I think it's Rumi who said, or maybe it's Rilke. Anyway, somebody said, let the winds of change, or let the winds dance between you. You know, always leave that room for the other person's integrity, for their journey, for their, allow them to feel what they feel and think what they think, and we'll meet up in the middle somehow. And having undergone this alchemical change about what we feel and how we feel, there's new life here. New life here. Full card. A card of life. A card of life force. Wands energy, fire energy. You know, and it's not, it's like, this is the opposite of being wound up too tightly or uptight, or it's a loose weave that allows for the blend. And this is a card, can be of the individual journey. You know, in a sense, the psyche at the very beginning of the journey toward wholeness. On the level of the archetype, the hero's journey, the fool's journey. Something needs to be healed before this forward movement could happen, because I think it may be happening. Well, it's divine timing, temperance, tempo. For these two things, for some alchemy needed to take place, and it required room to breathe, for the fire to ignite. Nothing smothering here. And off we go. Balanced emotionally, transformed, chariot, death, on the level of feelings. And here we are, kind of empowered to begin the journey. Because each one of us, like, nobody's tried to smother anybody. I think that's the biggest. You know, it's not up to the other person to tell us who we are, or what to feel, or when we're ready. But this is a card of being ready to take the risk. These three are all major arcana cards. These are kind of clarifiers for the whole other part of the reading. These three are minor arcana. So we have discernment, stability, protection, transformation on the level of feelings, allowing for forward balance movement. And I think on that basis, on that kind of stable footing, you know, being grounded and stable, and then willing to leap into thin air, you know, with a optimism or a intuition that, like, life will receive us just as we are. Mr. Rogers, I love you just the way you are. I love you just the way you are. You know, somebody is authentic and real, and somebody feels that that's true. And they kind of want some of that. But not in a creepy way. This kind of way. Because they may have before been, may have been an element of passing on the pain, or somebody who had experienced a whole lot of pain in their life. 10 of Swords, 3 of Swords, that it made them block. Made them block. But they've regained enough stability. 4 of Pentacles, 4 of Swords, you know, by both being there, by healing their life somehow. And now they can begin, and maybe begin again, on a better footing, on a stable footing. 4 and 4, 4 of Pentacles, 4 of Swords, 8. 8 in Major Arcana is Strength card. We have on the board, in Major Arcana, Aries in the Fool, Cancer in the Chariot, Scorpio in the Death card, Capricorn in the Devil, Hermit in the... Sorry. Virgo in the Hermit, Sagittarius in Temperance, it's like, you know, when we live our lives, it's always going to be a blend, a loose weave of pleasure and pain, of coming together in a loving way, and this memory of past hurt. Somebody's been able to absorb that, to look at it, to look at what perhaps they contributed to this lousy situation. So there's been a kind of cleansing, a transformation. Death card. Divine timing, this hourglass shape. Divine timing, Temperance. Something has opened the way. And I think it's always risky to risk your heart. King of Cups, 10 of Cups. But I think that's what this person, maybe both parties, are willing to do. And they'll use everything that they've learned thus far in their lives as a kind of fertilizer for growth. For growth. Pentacles are all about growth. Growth, spiritual growth, that involves the whole self, integrated, shadow included. Look at what's held you back. That's how to be able to move forward, you know, kind of fearlessly. Because there is this sense of great protection. It doesn't mean dropping all boundaries and just like, bleh, you know, I'm down for anything. It's not that. It's based on inner wisdom and knowing yourself. And when you know yourself, you can do this with somebody else. It's almost like your psyches can meet in this loose weave. Amen to that. And I'll see you next time.